Gaat die goed zo? Ja, top. Great. Just to check if everything is ready. Then I would like to use this moment to welcome you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the Innovation Café at the Kazerne. Thank you, Anne. We're not going to wait till the end. We're going to do this already now. I think we have two really interesting people here today. I know them already for a while, so I think I'm at liberty to say that they're very interesting. I think but I don't know all of you, so I'm really wanting to believe you. And I think at the end of the evening we will know for sure. Because what's really nice about the Innovation Café is, of course, that we have two people that are really specialized in something and they will share that with us. But then there's also all the time for us to have a conversation. So please feel free, and when you have questions or anything, to let me know. That's my job for this evening, to run around, make sure that you can ask your questions. And then we're trying, Stan and Fien also, to develop further with the things they're working on and the message they want to bring across. So thank you again for being here this evening. Stan and Fien are here. Both of you, I asked first to introduce briefly yourselves, so that we have a bit of a moment to get to know you and also what drives you. Stan, we know each other from Nieuw Zwanenburg, which is actually really nice, because I didn't know Stan for more than 1 week, and then he already said, yeah, just come on the bike with me and I will show you around. And then I thought, okay, wait, if I know him, apparently I need to do a lot. That's still the case. But you're a very active person. You're always walking around, doing a lot of things at the same time. But first of all, you're one of those people that never has time, but always has time to do everything. How does this work? How would you describe yourself in that sense?
Yeah, should I take it? Yes, active, and also I think very organic. I go with the flow. And, well, sometimes that's very wise, and sometimes the head says, wait, focus now. So, yes, and, well, maybe I start introducing. I grew up in the countryside around Eindhoven. So I was born in Bergijk. I don't know if everybody knows this village. And then in Veldhoven, and from 4 years on, I grew up in Wintelree. Winterree, very small town, 2,000 people. It's behind the Eindhoven airport, or Vliegveld Welschap. And my uncle had a farm there. So I grew up in this countryside, and as a little boy, I didn't understand the farming there. I always had these discussions as a young guy already with the farmers. Why are you farming like this? Why are the hedges going away? Why are the flowers going away? Why are the cows going away? And yes, then it's like it is. It's the system, and we have to go with it. And we have no choice. And then I thought, okay, when I'm growing up, I'm going to want to have a farm. I want to have land, and I'm going to show that food production and nature need each other. That was my drive as a young boy, and it never went away. So, and I have still this same drive, this same energy. So when I wake up, well, actually, this is always my driving force. And that was also why I went to Wageningen University. I studied biology there. And I also wanted to contribute to society. So my mother was a daughter from a farmer, and my father had a grocery shop in Hoogloon, also a small town. And he learned me that it's very important when you live in a village that you work together in the community. So you support each other. So you buy your grocery stuff in the village. And so you help each other. And that's how we grew up. And that's how when I went to Wageningen University, I always had this, how to say, so farming is not only about food production, but it's also about contributing and help each other, like farmers always did. And I think this combination of food production, sociology and ecology, that was my driving force to how can I contribute to these challenges. So I went to Rijkswaterstaat. Rijkswaterstaat is a public organization in the Netherlands. I don't know whether you know it, but it's part from the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management. And we manage almost maybe half of the Netherlands. So the North Sea, the IJssel Lake, the rivers, the canals, and the highways. So, and I did a lot of things there. And I even I did the management of the highways around Eindhoven. So when I was a district manager, we were completely have renovated the highways around Eindhoven. And can we have the next slide? Maybe that's nice. Oh, you can help me. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is a picture of Van der Palande. This is where we grow food at our farm. And I'm not growing the food myself. It's done by Jessica Peters. And we grow food. And at the same time, the value of the soil, of the water and the air and the biodiversity grow in value as well. So it's a very intensive production, high production, and the values of water. So these commons are growing in value. So that's amazing. So, and then I thought, when we can make food production systems like this, why don't we make highways like this? Why don't we make infrastructure that also contributes to water management, to soil, to air, and to biodiversity? So that was actually my main driver. And this is a bird's eye view of our farm. So I cannot, is there a pointer also or not? Okay, well, and then I do it like this. So this is about 1.8 hectares. We live there, and this is the 6,000 square meters food production. And we have 70 customers every week. We grow crops there, mainly vegetables, for Eindhoven at the Omslag, maybe you know it. And also in Tilburg, of course, at our place. And in Oosterwijk and in Lennesheuvel. And it's community-supported farming. So it's intensive, but it's every customer takes a share in the well, they say, I want to have vegetables coming year. And Jessica grows with her team, there are more people now, vegetables for these customers. And now I'm going to break the bridge to the infrastructure. We have also, so we have the regenerative farming, but at the same time we are building a climate adaptive water hub. So we gather the water from the roof, from that big old stable. We gather it in that pond, and there we grow, we water the vegetables. And imagine that roof is a highway. So that's what I'm doing now at Rijkswaterstaat, is gathering the water from the roof, and in this case from the highway. We collect it, we clean it, we store it, and we make it ready for local use. And that's my project now. So, and my goal is to connect the highway with the surrounding area. And that means we can connect and help with the societal challenges, local challenges with the highway in many ways. but we started with water, and we do that now in a European context. In Switzerland, Germany, France, Belgium, and in the Netherlands we do that. Can I have the next slide? At Innova 58, it's along the A58. It's, hello Paul. It's a highway from the Netherlands, or from Tilburg to Eindhoven. And there we have a resting area, and there we have an innovation site. And there we are, at the moment we have a design. We are not yet purifying the water, but we have a design ready. And hopefully the coming year we will have the design completely finished. And we start collecting, cleaning, and storing the water. I think that's about it. Yeah? And the project is called Innova 58. And this is the European project. It's running now. It's an Interreg project. Okay.
Well, I don't think you're ready yet, honestly, because what is your role in these types of projects? Because Rijkswaterstaat is an enormous organization. Rijkswaterstaat is not the only party involved in the highways that we have here in the Netherlands. So what is your role within these type of transitions?
Actually, I think I'm the Kickstarter. So I'm good in, a girlfriend of mine says, you're good in pulling, kicking things, starting things that are not usual. And I because I very much like to contribute to society, I kickstart, I kickstart because my driving force is the goals of 2050. You know, we have to become energy neutral, climate adaptive, biodiverse, a social society. And we have 25 years to reach these goals. And I think time is running. And I think we have to innovate and kind of disrupt to go for these challenges. And I think the highway is the ideal spot to help with these challenges because the highways are a big ik call it raster. I don't know the English term. It's a big grid in our country, and they are very isolated now in the landscape. And when we can start connecting the highways, so open them up, and they start serving the area in our country, then we kind of make a steering wheel for the complete transition of the area. Well, actually, in our country. So, and we are not, of course, the only ones who can do that, but we can make a very big contribution to the sustainable area when we start making, and actually you start making short change. You make short chain for energy, for food, for resources. That's what you're doing. And then actually it's the whole grid with all kind of circles, connecting circles, connecting, Is it a bit clear?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
And these short chains that you make, are those also because of the knowledge that you got from your father, that you have to work within those communities, that you have to support each other, but that you also have to look around, you, near you, what you can do with the material and the, and responsibility that you carry with it? Yeah,
I think so, but there's one other very important aspect, is that we have in our country, we don't have enough space to do all these different, the energy transition, the circular, the climate, beside each other. We have to integrate because we don't have enough space, and I think also we don't have enough money. So we have to integrate, and the best places, of course, they are place-based, and the best place to integrate are within communities, because they can integrate ecology, economy, and sociology. And I think they are the best. I look at communities as they are the base of the big transitions in our country, and I think all around the world. And not the only one, but they are the best in this. And of course, corporates, so market people from the market, the government, and Knowledge Institute have to stand around these communities. And this, I think.
And can you see Brainport, the region around Eindhoven, can you see it as a community, or are you looking at smaller communities?
Yeah, I see Brainport as, well, Eindhoven is my city. I grew up in this small town, but I also went for my clothing, and when we went for a beer, I went on my bicycle to Eindhoven, to the dance salon and to the Wilhelmine, and so it feels for me like home also here. So I think the sandy soils around Eindhoven, I think the Brainport area is for me a region, I think the best region in our country where we can speed up to reach these goals of 2050. I think it's the only one actually in our country where we can do this. Yeah, we have a common ground, we can work together, we understand each other, and we are willing to help each other, I think. Yeah.
And is it then a combination between the attitudes and the sandy soil that we have here, or is it?
Yeah, it's an attitude, but it's also where I was talking about this short change, and I think maybe to tell this because we have a very smart area here, so high tech, but with only high tech we cannot make these transitions. It's not enough. We have to also start the social transition and the ecological values. We have to respect them, and that's why I have introduced the low-tech campus. So it's the first time I call this now. So that was actually an eye wink to the high-tech campus, but it's very serious for me. It's a community about around this rest area at the Kloosters, and it's a community. It's an old neighborhood, and it's there since the Middle Ages. Oorschot and Best were grounded with 8 of these communities together. And in 1,000 hectares, they were running themselves for their local food, energy, resources, water, everything. So, and I, now I'm lost my...
Why do you want to start a low-tech campus?
Yeah, because I think, now I know it again. So I think these neighborhoods, let's say the villages around the city of Eindhoven, we have to make a bridge. We have to really start working together in these communities, because Eindhoven needs a lot of food, lots of energy, a lot of resources. And when we can start making these short chains with the surrounding area around the city, so then we can also make this transition of the landscape. So, and I think the food system, ecosystem that we are building at our place together, Jessica with her team and Maëlle and I that are living there. And I think I always get emotional when I say this. I think that's my inspiration source, and I think that when we can start producing in an ecosystem, valuing water, soil, air, and biodiversity, you can make intensive systems for food production, energy production, and resource production. And I think that's how the city can help. But we have to make these short chains, and it is very simple. It looks very simple, but it's very, very hard, because last 100 years we have made these long chains. And we did a project here, Anemone, here at the Kazerne, at Biotope Brainport. And that's how we tried to make this short chain food. So grow food and bring it to the hospital, because they need very good food there. And within, that was our project. And we found out that in January, the food in the whole province of Noord-Brabant is already gone. You know, we have milk and we have meat, but we don't have vegetables anymore. So you see this how vulnerable we are. So I think it's wise to make these short changes.
Yeah, and I think also what is very remarkable about you is that within this bigger organizations, you're still trying to experiment on also, about these short chains, but you're trying to keep on experimenting, even though the organizations around you aren't, made for short experimentations.
Yeah, and I always try to use my gezond boerenverstand. I don't know how you put that in English. Just common sense, and
thank you.
And I've yeah. But I'm also, I also sometimes kick at Rijkswaterstaat, but at the same time, I'm very proud to work at our country, because I think when we can change, and I think we can do this in Brainport, but you need to help us also as an organization with these, okay, when you want to build a multifunctional highway, and I know that lots of people in our organization really want to do this, but we need an order from somebody. And when Brainport starts telling to Rijkswaterstaat, please, we want to have your energy, we want to have your warmth, we want to have your, well, whatever. Will you help to make this, well, multifunctional road and contributes also to our societal challenge in our city? I think, of course, our big boss has to say yes, but many people in our organization are very sustainable and want to contribute to society. I know, I really know. So, yeah, and I help him that in a little bit to open the door.
Great, yeah. Great. Then I have for you one last question before we go to Fien, because the Innovation Café is, of course, a place where design and innovation and knowledge meet. Yeah. How do you actually look at the design field? Because you're much more on the knowledge and tech side. So how do you look at the design field? Yeah,
design field is key. So when I had the idea of this low-tech campus, I thought we have to do this with the design community in Eindhoven, because they are very sensitive, and they have the ability to completely turn around or think in another way than I do as a biologist or our civil engineers. So without them, it's not possible. I really think that. So that's why I made this connection, I think already like 4 or 5 years ago. But we are working now together already with the Design Academy. And in fact, a month ago, I gave a lecture about the low-tech campus at Raf de Koning's Rotary. Raf de Koning is the director of Design Academy Eindhoven. So there is real interest, and well, we are also working together with how do you work with communities? How do you really start working together with the Design Academy Eindhoven and with Professor Naomi Buena de Mesquita from the Design Academy Eindhoven. And in our European project even, well, not in a small scale, but in the next scale, then for the coming 4 years, we hear in 4 weeks whether we get this European funding. Then we've got 4 years working together with the Design Academy. And well, I like that a lot. Yeah, it's fun and it's important.
Yeah. Nice, thank you. Then we're coming back to you after Fien. Thanks. Fien, also thank you for being here. We also know each other already for a long time because we studied together. And then Fien was one of those students who had one very clear idea, which is very nice, but it's very uncommon because students always want everything and they want more and they want to try out everything. So it's quite rare to already have somebody that has one clear idea and also thinks, I really want to go for this. And you're still actually working on this and you're still developing and you're still making sure that it's also really there because, well, again, designers want everything and then to finish something, it's very hard. But can you take us with you how from your graduation, you went to how you ended up nowadays?
Yes, of course. Yes. I also did Design Academy here around the corner. And my graduation project was called Rainaway. And nowadays, 10 years later, Rainaway is still my design studio. And what I did with my graduation project is what I wanted to show that rainwater can also be really beautiful. Because I think 10 years ago, climate change. We just had this really heavy rainfalls in Copenhagen, and this was the first time we heard about this heavy rainfalls and floodings and what it can mean for our public space. But it was only, we only talked about it really negative. And in the Netherlands, we really used to control rainwater. So the only thing we used to do is how can we manage rainwater? How can we transport it away out of the city? And I thought, how can we look different to rainwater again? And I did public space design, so I thought, how can we design with rainwater on a beautiful way? So this was the first start at my graduation project, where I designed a paving tile that shows rainwater on a really beautiful way, slows down this natural water cycle. And also, I also designed a tile where you cannot drive or walk over. So that was still on my graduation project, because I wanted to show, I want to give attention to it, that you have to walk around it. So now, 10 years later, we developed this whole system and thought about paving on a different way. And during this study about bringing back this natural water cycle in our cities, we found out that actually just our neighborhoods, just the normal streets, I think most of you also live in, the streets who mostly look like this. You have the streets and both of the sides are parking spots, a lot of paving, not much area for green. So here was a big challenge for bringing back this natural water cycle. And if we look through this kind of streets, we have a lot of cars. And this is a lot of empty space, what is only used for the car. And we thought, what can we do with this paving to bring back this natural water cycle? We opened up this surface, so we designed, or actually I developed the graduation project further to a system what not only a beautiful tile for rainwater, also that actually grass and vegetation can grow in between, but also a soil that's can really absorb the rainwater. So it's a system what allows the rainwater to go back into the soil, and it looks really simple, because I think it's what we all know from nature, the natural water cycle. Water, it falls, it goes back into the soil, and the plants evaporate it and go back into the atmosphere. But that's the thing what we totally forgot in our cities. So this is really a practical, maybe really simple way to think about designing our public space, our living streets. But still, it's a really transition, because with this kind of streets, you don't have, most of the time, they're not designers involved with really new, great ideas who can design the streets that are just the normal procedures. It's just the policy of the local government. So what we found out is that we didn't have to only design a system, but also a process. So we help the municipality to change this process, and to help them to look different, and to think about the raindrop, to think about how can this raindrop, when it falls, go back into the soil. So what you see is a street with a lot of green. The parking spaces are all green, but the sewer system is used on a different way. So all the rainwater, mostly I think 95% of the yearly rain can infiltrate of this whole street in this parking spots, and only if it's really a heavy rainfall we have to flush it through the sewer. But most of the time we can just hold it and bring back this natural water cycle in the streets. So this is a new way of thinking, but also I think a small step what we can make together, what can make a lot of impact for the cities and our streets where we live in.
So actually you're trying to learn the municipalities not to fight against and not to control, but actually to work with the rainwater, right?
Yes, yeah, because normally we're used to think about how big has the pipe to be for the sewer, how much rain, and where can we transport it to. And also with we still have big water storages. Wadis is really common. I don't know if there's an English word for that, but
can you describe what it is?
Actually, it's a kind of rainwater pond, but only is used for rainwater. But you collect a lot of water, so you have to transport first the water to this place. And if we use the rainwater really locally, then you don't have to transport as much water, of course.
So a lot of the thinking is more in terms of risk management, like, okay, here's this problem, how can we solve this problem? And not more on the preventive side, like you actually are thinking.
Yes, and maybe it's also because we are so used to it. All the way, mostly the people say where we work with, we always do it like this. But that's also the problem of climate change, is that we cannot do everything on the same way as we did it, because that's not going to work anymore. So that's a really big step to make.
And can you walk us through how you also help municipalities to make this transition? Because I can imagine that going from the notion of, yes, but this is how we always did it, to, oh, hey, this actually helps us a lot with all the other things that we otherwise would need to arrange, that we now have to arrange on a different importance level. Mm-hmm. How do you take them along?
We make sure that everyone is involved, who is about the urban planning. So also someone's about the sewer, someone's about paving, or about policy. And we made a kind of process where we make a new policy with new designs of standard street design that they can use in every standard design. So we together we make some design rules, and those design rules are integrated in their policy. So every new streets they're gonna make, when they have to replace the paving, for example, nowadays they also do it the same way, and then they have this new way with new design rules they have to follow. So then it's becoming a new standard. Yeah.
And are there already places where we can see your work here in Eindhoven or in the region? Could you take us?
Actually a lot of places in Eindhoven, a few near Kelderman, that's where our studio is.
So Kelderman van Noord at Woensel West, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
If you're in that area, go past Kelderman.
Yeah.
What can we see there?
There you see our first design, but it's also only as a small detail, and where we at the where they now building is the Leostraat in Eindhoven. There you will see this parking spots, but there's still building it, so you have to wait a little. But you can find them also in Oorschot, in Tilburg, in Katwijk, we made the first design rules, so they really integrated in their policy. Now we did also the gemeente of Gouda and some other smaller municipalities like gemeente Zuidplas, but they're all, I don't know if someone knows those places, but...
Well, I'm also asking this, and this is actually a question for both of you, for both Stan and Fien. Last Tuesday, our alderman and our mayor were in Den Haag. They were talking to the ministers to divide also the money from the Beethoven deal, and almost 1/3 goes to all the problems or all the, how do you say that, challenges around all the mobility, all the questions around the roads, or how do we travel, how do we transport ourselves. And my question to both of you is, well, this money is coming up, and we, within this region, we are very good at thinking about efficiency and thinking about, of course, the problem that we're going to have with a lot of extra people. So how can they go as fast as possible from A to B? But what your both suggestion actually is a much more holistic view to looking at, well, streets, roads. What would your suggestion to the government, but also to the municipality of Eindhoven be when they have this money and how they should invest it? What are things that they definitely shouldn't miss looking at the challenges that we're facing in the coming years?
I think that they also have to, not only about mobility, but they have to give it also other name, or let's say another person at the table who can be water and someone can be green, or so that's not only about someone talking through this kind of view, and so all those different, because the challenge of climate change where we facing it, there's so different, so many different things you have to think of. You have to have some people who will give that perspective, I think.
Yeah, you want to make a scale jump, in Brainport. That's something, So when you make a scale jump, I think you have to start looking differently. So that's what designers, I think, are very good in. So I think there's, well, maybe a one-time opportunities, maybe a big, but when you are really investing so much money in this region, and I think it's worthwhile, very worthwhile in this region, then I think then please use this opportunity. And it's not about money. This is, well, of course you need money, but the biggest challenge is then start looking differently at this, well, at mobility, but also at these assets, at infrastructure. In my case, at infrastructure. And challenge us, Rijkswaterstaat, as ask us for help, for mobility, but also for these other challenges. And then we can start designing with the design community in Eindhoven, and also with Paul, you're also here, with Disruptor, with Eindhoven Engine. They are already talking with us. They want to contribute. So when we start helping each other in looking and also start designing, I'm not so much about making drawings, but really start making prototypes. We've got this innovation site at the Nova 58. We got New Zwanenburg. We got the Lothar campus. We've got the TUE. So we have the spaces, we have the people to start doing it.
But who has to challenge you?
I think,
because that's the thing. There has to be people who will challenge people and have to come up with those ideas.
I think and we've got the Omgevingswet starting this year. So this is a huge opportunity for the community, for the people in Brainport, for the people around our assets, to start asking for this help. And I think the mayor and I call it the wethouders,
Alderman.
Let's say the alderman. Well, I challenge them to help to stand together with these people to challenge us, you know, in a positive way, to challenge us, because we like to make challenges, complex challenges. We like that as an organization. So please challenge us.
Wait. I'm gonna give you this.
Isn't normally not the other way around? You have to challenge them. I mean, they got a project, they have a million things on their mind. Everybody has climate on their mind, but they don't know all the solutions. So you build a business case and present it. That means the collaboration, the process of talking to all the parties, the networking, that's the key issue. That's something which has to start on your side, not on their side. Or am I missing here something?
Well, Fien, could you maybe, because I think it's a good point, but Fien, could you maybe help us out here? Because just as a speculative scenario, you're not inviting yourself, right? So, or are you? Or how are you getting asked? Because I also really understand, Stan, that Rijkswaterstaat can't decide on their own. So they need a question. But indeed, the alderman and the municipality have all those things on their mind. So how do we get, like you, Fien, how do we get at the table? Do we get this question asked?
Yeah, the thing is, how we do it is doing things like this, going out, doing presentations and create this awareness about this topic, because I also think who is gonna challenge who, because first you have to create this awareness, and most of the people who are doing their day job, they cannot think that big, or maybe they do, but they don't know how to solve the problems or how to speak about it and talk about it. So you need people who, you always, with transitions, you need people who can show the bigger picture. And you also need people, I think, like me, who have solutions, who are seems a bit more simple, and you think, okay, this is what we can do. This is the first step. And then when I just graduated from Design Academy, I also had really big ideas with water systems and how we can use rainwater in our public space. But it was too big of an idea. So you also need. You have to make it small, maybe in pieces, and you need people who can make that bridge, I think.
So you need to take them along in that sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a common problem, so it's not one party or the other party should make the step, it's both parties who should make the step. Because if you start knocking at the door of somebody who isn't open for it, you just knock on the door and there's nothing.
That's obviously true.
But can I continue? I go tomorrow. I sit together with Brainport Development, MRE. So we're talking about this stuff, and since Stan talked to me about this, I bring this up. Cool. So this is happening because Stan is so active, and I'm also trying to be active. But so we really are considering this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Can I contribute before we come to you? Because at DGMO. So we've got a Ministry for Infrastructure and Water Management. And Rijkswaterstaat is part of this infrastructure. But we've got also a DG. We are a directorate. And we also a directorate of mobility. And they have decided to start a verkenning. And it's like an exploration. It's an official term, an official procedure. It's taking for years. For the N2, A2. So for the Landweg Eindhoven. So this is a huge opportunity for, and I completely agree, Paul, but it's a huge opportunity to start working together with the communities around the Randweg A2A2. And of course also with Rijkswaterstaat and with, well, the TUE and so on and so on. This is a huge opportunity for doing it together with, like you also suggest, I think.
I think we shouldn't underestimate how much expertise there is in the community. But yeah, everybody's busy. But some people have the capacity to bring in their time and expertise to do something, and that needs to be organized. And some communities are more organized than others. But I think now that the lack of space, the lack of money, the shrinking governmental entities, also with the ravine that's coming in 2026, when municipalities really have to cut down, I think it's very important that we open our eyes to how resilient communities are, how much expertise is there, and how they can organize things that are bigger than these small things. So small things are still very important. But then you just participate individuals. And I think what you were inviting us to is to challenge in a positive way these big organizations like Rijkswaterstaat, and they're very valuable, but sometimes they're a bit in their silos. How can the community organize itself and really look Rijkswaterstaat straight in the eye at the same level? We have interesting things to offer, and we can cooperate with you, not being participating in your ideas and your projects and your plans. No, we can offer this, what can you offer, and let's make an interesting deal where we can strengthen each other. It's quite new, because normally it's just, we will participate you. You will be participated, resistance is futile. I'm just teasing now, but you really want to be at the same level and then see what you can do at a much higher level than before. And I think that's possible. But we need to also learn that possibility is there, that Rijkswaterstaat is more and more open to those kind of things, other organizations as well, and that how we need to organize ourselves. So I also had a question to you. So you mentioned your process, but you mentioned all expertises in the municipality, what I thought. So did you think it was necessary to involve the inhabitants of that street, what their thoughts were? Or was it just something that could be solved and everybody was happy? That's also fine.
Yeah, most of the time what we do is focus on the municipality, and if it comes to a project, then we connect with, yeah, of course, also the people who live there. In Rotterdam, we did a lot of projects together. The other way around, actually, that we start, yeah, with the people, and then we say to the municipality, look what great ideas they have, and then, yeah, we started the other way around. So sometimes, yeah, it also can be, if you connect the people, you can also do it the other way around. But for this this kind of processes, they're really in these kind of policy, and they want to, yeah, they have just those check boxes. So if you want to change it, you have to, yeah, do it on the same route if you want to change it.
So you have to know in the first place that they're going to change it, that they're going to update it, and then it's the conversation to have.
Yeah.
And otherwise you first have the conversation with the people living around, and then once it's time to change something, they know, ah yeah, the people that live there also would like some change. Nice.
Yeah, so I have well, a question and a remark, because it's really inspirational, and all the people that have been looking at those things will think, oh wow, beautiful. So you watch movies like The Biggest Little Farm, and then you think about, oh, this is really nice. I live in Eindhoven, where we did a park. So I was part of the development group of participants in who's living there, the residents. And we were taught about the water and how the water was collected. But there's, I believe, a big disconnect, because you can speak with Rijkswaterstaat or with municipalities, And that's on a top level. And then you speak, like the former question was about, over the heads of the people that are living there. All our houses have gardens with a filtration system in their garden. So they dug a hole, they filled it up with little stones, pebbles. And then it turns out that all the people living there just close it off because it was a nuisance in their garden. Then we have a split system of the rainwater going into the artificial lake that was built in the park. But then people are just washing their cars and the water is going into the wadis and eventually is going there. So you're missing that grassroots people living there, residents, that get inspired and then say, we want to participate, and maybe then help you with the mass of the voices of people saying, this is what we want. Because now it's an academic thing, people that are here understand, but people that aren't here, and my neighbors, for instance, I come back and I went to the Innovation Café, there were 2 people, really inspirational, and then I say, yeah, but I have this big box in my garden and I really don't want it. And that's the disconnect. So I also think that we have to raise awareness not by just the people that can make the change, but also where the change is forced upon.
Yeah, I think
You both can.
Yeah.
Let's just flip a coin to start first.
I think this is what we see happening a lot. But yeah,
With?
Your customers.
Yeah.
Customers are the municipal.
Yeah. I think we are completely on the same level.
Great.
In what way can education and media help you with expanding all of this? In terms of teaching kids about this at either primary school or secondary school, or even further on in higher education, like universities and universities of applied sciences. How can that help you? Is there a role for that?
I think that's a really good topic, because if you start with education, you can create this awareness. I think it's more easy to create this awareness. Also, we did a project in Valkenswaard where we worked together. One street was, they had to make a new design for the street, and all the neighbors, they came together. And what we saw is there was one person who had, with heavy rainfall, his whole he had a flooding in his house, so he really felt the need to change. But maybe his neighbors also had this same interest. But if you were a little bit further down the street, people already didn't felt this this problem for themselves. So it's really difficult to create the awareness on this kind of big topics. And I think if we collaborate with education, but also, of course, in the media, and it all helps to create a new way of thinking with us all.
I think, Paul, we need, because at Disruptor, you work already with TNO, you work with Fontis. So, and I don't know, is there also marketing in there, in this collaboration? Because I think that could be an opportunity to give Paul a call or start talking with him. How can we do this in Disruptor?
It's just crazy difficult to do this.
Ah, okay.
It's just
Sorry.
crazy difficult. we need all the parties involved almost.
Yeah.
And it's a wicked problem. That's we say.
Oh, we like that, do we?
But it's crazy difficult, and you have to start somewhere and make progress. But for instance, Rijkswaterstaat is one of the big national institutes who's willing to talk and is open. I talked to another one, a big one, I don't know what, but that is more like a wall, and then you ask things, and then there is still the wall. So we are happy that we can at least talk, and he's open, and other people in Rijkswaterstaat are also open to find out how we will try to solve this.
Maybe I also have a really nice suggestion for education. There are child books, De Klimaatjes it's called in Dutch, and it's really on a really cute way all this climate education, or climate change topics in a book, and it makes it really relatable for kids, and I think those kind of things also really helps. So maybe we also have to look, we have to start really young, and then maybe you don't have these walls when they are grown up and they're working at a municipality or.
Yeah, I've got one remark first. I think we are forgetting the role of schools in community. Community are also designed around the school, and schools are a terrific power, a terrific vector of education. So for all the people who have a garage of neighbors cleaning the water with the hose, well, the school has a role to play in there. And if the municipality is smart enough to have all the schools working with them on the ecological project, the kids will be there and the parents will be listening to their kids. So that's the first remark I had. Maybe a second remark that I have, I think it's for both of you. I wonder whether the municipalities are the right partner for such big challenges that we have to do. What I noticed from the Dutch perspective, the municipality is overwhelmed by a project with a budget which is still going down. They don't have the time enough to be properly informed. So the question would be more than, should we go to the region to have a better